Hello there, fellow internet friends, and welcome to my first ever Pokemon Black and White 2 narrated Wi-Fi battle. I am playing some dude from the Smogon Wi-Fi battle finder by the name of X/Master X, but I doubt that he has a YouTube channel, so let's get straight into the team preview. We are both using rain teams, and what immediately catches my eye as a threat on his team is the Toxicroak, seeing as I don't really have a reliable counter to it. My Tornadus can OHKO it with the Hurricane, but risks taking a lot of damage in the process. The rest of his team doesn't look too threatening. His Ferrothorn is probably going to set up the entry hazards, which leads me to believe that his Jirachi is probably the Sub-Calmine variant, which can easily be dealt with my special defensive bulk up Breloom. Now, Dragonite is always a threat, but I do carry my 3 revenge killers in the shape of Choice Band Scissor, Choice Scarf Timid Politoed, and the Choice Scarf Terrakion, which can all do a lot of damage to it with the appropriate move. Now, my Terrakion is also my Stealth Rocker, and as weird as it seems to pack Stealth Rock on a choice poke, I always feel like that Terrakion forces a lot of switches, but at the same time is walled quite easily by pokes like Gliscor or the Skarmory. So I'd much rather have my Stealth Rock set up instead of locking myself into a move which doesn't do much damage at all. Now, looking for potential leads. I see that his team benefits from the rain far more than mine does. Every of his Pokemon gets direct or indirect benefit from it, so I anticipated him to leading off with his Politoed. Also possible would be the Ferrothorn lead to set up his entry as it's early on to secure the residual damage on my pokes. So in both cases my Breloom seemed for me the perfect answer, since I can easily put them to sleep and I can even set up on them with the bulk up. And my game plan is like, as long as I can keep the Toxicroak in check and get enough residual or prior damage on the Jirachi, my Terrakion should be able to do a lot of damage to his team, and seeing as that could be quite handy, that could maybe secure my victory. But let's get straight into the battle. So he in fact does lead off with the Politoed, as I anticipated, and I lead off with my Breloom. So my Pokemon gets outsent first, which tells me directly that he's the defensive variant and I have nothing to fear whatsoever. So I'm just gonna go for the Bulk Up, considering that it's probably a safe move at this point and he can't really do much to me. So he goes with the Protect, which is kind of a foolish movement on his part. Had I been the Swords Dance variant, he could have already been in a lot of trouble. Now I go for the Seed Bomb, knowing he would probably stay in, predicting my Spore. But I don't want to put this Paul to sleep. I want to put something valuable to sleep. I go for the Seed Bomb, and it almost takes it out. Now I go for the Perish Song, which is probably his best move to go for at this point, seeing as all the other moves wouldn't have done a lot of damage to my Paladin. I could have just, no, to my Breloom actually, and I could have easily healed that off. Now he's obviously going to go for the Protect, and I sped this up because it's not really interesting. Now I don't want to put anything to sleep again, because he could just stay in with his Politoed, so I'm just going to go for the Drain Punch, and surprisingly he kills Ferrothorn due to a crit. Now this crit definitely mattered, considering I don't have any attack EVs, and he could have easily taken that, but he would have been at a low amount of health to where any of my offensive pokes could have easily picked him off at this point, so it didn't really matter that much. Now as switches in his Toxicroak, I cannot stay in even with a +1. I'm gonna switch out into my Politoed, the Scarf variant, anticipating some sort of support move, such as the Substitute Bulk Up a Source, and in fact does go for the Substitute. I can now easily lock him into that with the Encore, and I do predict him to switch out here. So I switch into my Terrakion, and knowing that he's most likely going to be scared out, whatever comes in, but he does in fact stay in, which is weird. Now I want to go for the Stealth Rock, anticipating again that he switches out, but he doesn't, so he just stays in and goes to another Substitute. I get off my Stealth Rocks, which is nice, so now the Dragonite's Multiscale is broken, and the Gyarados will take a lot of damage, rendering its hit-taking capabilities less than it used to be. So now I'm just gonna go for the Anchor, lock him into the bulk up. Now it's getting kind of scary, so I need to take out this Toxicroak as soon as possible, seeing as a boosted stab fighting move is going to hurt everything on my team. Now I go for the Hurricane, easily break that sub. Now the bulk up, now the Anchor ends on this turn, and I thought I could maybe live a Sucker Punch, seeing as it isn't stabbed, he doesn't carry the Life Orb, and Tornadus has a decent amount of bulk, but it actually takes me straight out. Now, it's kind of understandable, seeing as his Toxicroak is probably adamant max attack, and if you kept track of the boost, it's already at +4, so I had no chance of surviving that hit whatsoever. Now he's gonna go for the Drain Punch on my Rotom. I carry enough Speedyvis to outspeed Jolly Breloom in order to inflict a burn. Now in that case I should also easily be able to outspeed the Toxicroak and burn it, and that's what I do. Now he goes for Drain Punch, and even after the burn that does a scaringly high amount of damage, so I'm just gonna go for the Pain Split to heal some damage. Now I could go again for the Pain Split, but I predicted him to go for some sort of support move here, again bulk up or substitute, so I went for the Volt Switch, actually having in mind that I could go to Politoed and just lock him into one of the aforementioned moves, but he just goes into Politoed, probably predicting another Pain Split, wanting to get some health back, but I just go for the Volt Switch and take him out. Now, I don't want him to get Switch Initiative on anything but my Terrakion, because it's probably the scariest thing now. He's switching his Scarabs, which is very weird. At first I thought this was a misclick or something like that, or he just doesn't know the base speed of Terrakion. But then I realized, wait, the only move I went for the entire game with my Terrakion was the Stealth Rocks, and I thought maybe he figured that it was some sort of support variant. So. And then I also figured his Gyarados would be Scarfed, otherwise he wouldn't bring it in like that. But I'm actually also Scarfed, and he didn't see that coming, so I'm easily going to be able to knock him out with a Stone Edge. And now that leaves a lot of leeway for the rest of my team, seeing as now he doesn't have a reliable way to deal damage to my Terrakion or to my Caesar, which is still waiting in the wings. Now he brings in his Jirachi, and anticipating the sub-comment variant, I'm actually going to switch into my Breloom, knowing that I can win any bulk up Calm Mind War he wants to go for, due to the fact that the best thing he can do to damage me is a +6 Thunder, which doesn't even 2-hit KO, considering the amount of health I get back with the Drain Punch in conjunction with the Toxic Orb. Now I go for the Drain Punch, break his up. I sped this part up by a lot because, well, it's not really something interesting, so it's just the both of us setting up and just me getting back to full health every time I use Drain Punch. And now he goes to the Water Pulse, and there's barely any damage. After the Toxic Orb, he's just hoping for a confusion there, but it would have just like, well, made the battle longer than it needed to be. So I'm actually not really, I'm really happy that he didn't get the confusion. So eventually I'm gonna be able to knock it out. Now he's gonna bring in his Dragonite, and even if he hits the Dragon's Lumberry variant, I'm just gonna go for the Spore, because I can take because if he goes to the Dragon Dance and then Outrage, I can take a +1 Outrage and just put it to sleep again. But it turns out he's a special variant. Now the Hurricane is easily going to be able to knock me out, but that's not such a big deal. I don't need to spread him for anything anymore. I don't have anything put to sleep, but that's fine. He only has the Dragonite and the Toxicroak left. Now I'm gonna go into the Politoed to probably Revenge Killed with the Ice Beam now. I'm max special attack, and this should actually take him out, but it doesn't. Now that tells me that he's probably running close or even max speed. No, wait, not speed. Special defense. So he goes for the Thunder, and he gets a Para, which is like, and now I just want to stop the match because he just put me in a very unfavorable position. Now but I still have a couple of options here. I could now stay in with my Politoed, go for another Ice Beam to get some super effective damage off, but if he goes for the Roost and gets up to full, then he will definitely get his multi-skill back, and eventually I'm gonna get Parahex. And I really don't want this Dragonite to be at multi-scale. I mean, that's why I set up the Stealth in the first place. Now, if he goes for one of his attacking moves and takes me out, that's gonna be fine, because I can now easily, now my Terrakion can easily come in and revenge kill with the Stone Edge. The thing is just, if you go for the Roost, that's not gonna turn out well for me. Then the second option is going into my Terrakion. If he goes for the Roost, that's nice, because he will get health back though, but I still can take it out with a Stone Edge because he's special defensive. That's what the damage calculation has established. Now, if I go into my Terrakion and he happens to go for the attacking move like Hurricane or Thunder, that's not really gonna be doing much damage. I mean, it's gonna do a lot of damage, but I can take at least one because he doesn't have any special attack investment. And so, in the case that I mispredict, and even if I do mispredict, I'm still on the safe side to go into my Terrakion. Even if he gets a crit right here, I still have my Scizor to pick it up with a Bullet Punch, and he actually happens to go for the Roost, which is a very good play for me, because now I put a lot of pressure on his last two pokes, which are the Toxicroak and the Dragonite. I knew he would probably not switch into his Toxicroak, because, well, it's burned, it can't really do anything anymore. So now, especially because it doesn't have any boosts anymore, now I go for the Stone Edge and take him out. And so yeah, so I just did the risk-reward analysis, and it paid off huge, because now I won the battle, because he's gonna sit in his Toxicroak and he's just gonna run. So that's gonna be the 4-0 in my favor, and yeah, that's gonna be the match. Now, I hope you enjoyed, if even anyone is going to watch that, and if you did, you can feel free to give me some feedback and on how to improve my narrations. And yeah, so love and peace to all of you out there who get this message, and I still wish you a wonderful day. And yeah, it would be a pleasure to catch at least some of you guys next time. Goodbye.